This episode is sponsored by BM Catalysts.
BM Catalysts are Europe's leading manufacturer of catalytic converters, DPFs and front pipes, helping to keep vehicles running cleaner and greener. Welcome back to Garage Talk Unwrapped, the podcast with me, Vicky.
And me, Ben. In this episode, we're joined by Dave Reece from School of Thought, an organisation that exists to shape and change what young people think about careers in our industry and to promote automotive careers to the employees of the future.
School of Thought run practical programs to connect young people to the sector. They have a work experience portal, advertise placement opportunities, run campaigns, and so much more. Apprenticeships, work placements, and internships are all part of what School of Thought supports. They encourage businesses to become partners, ambassadors, and placement providers so young people actually see the variety of careers in garages, body shops, parts, diagnostics, and beyond.
It was a very timely conversation for us, wasn't it, Victoria?
Yeah.
Because while we were at the motor show speaking to Dave in August, we were in the process of taking on our first ever apprentice. So we were keen to hear Dave's thoughts on the benefits of apprenticeships and how to keep apprentices engaged. Do you think we've kept our apprentice engaged, Victoria?
Yeah, she scares me a bit. I think she's too engaged. Let's get into it. Here's our conversation with Dave Reece from the School of Thought.
Dave Reece, welcome to the Garage Talk and Wrap podcast, one of our first guests.
Absolutely honoured, young man, as usual.
Now, on the video magazine, we've spoken a lot about the industry and we've spoken a lot about people attracting into the industry. It's changing. I think we can all feel quite a positive buzz out there.
Yeah, we can feel a bit of a bow wave of activity out there, to be honest. I think we're going to put our hat in the ring and say lots more people now looking at work experience, and I think we've been a big driver of that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know, and the more people that say that they've had a work experience guy for a week or two, the more we're going to get other businesses to take them on.
I think apprenticeships, though, as well, have come massively into the industry. I think some big promoters of apprenticeships as well as the work experience. And I think the whole system now is far more welcoming to youngsters than it ever has been. And you've been a big driver of that.
Well, I think yeah, we've seen some big companies grow, some big companies that have starting to take apprentices on. We've seen companies where the fear factor of how much an apprentice costs is literally not an issue anymore because of understanding. So we go out and they understand the funding. So you know all they have to do is match fund and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we are seeing growth in it. We're seeing probably more growth in the body shop sector, to be brutal, mate. But we've had I say that we've been in body shop for years. We've been working on this for 20 years.
I know.
I think independent garages have got a lot of catching up to do. But there's some really, really good stories out there where they're starting to get there.
And I think it's the most positive it's ever been for many a year, certainly that I remember. Well, I have got a bit of a story. We've just taken on an apprentice. She starts mid-September.
I saw.
But yes, thank you. It's most of it's down to you and your influence, Dave, in apprenticeships. But we've got a bit of a story, really. She was working for a charity in Shropshire, and unfortunately they've closed.
Yeah.
So she approached us, we spoke to her, and she came across really well, so we offered her the job. And then spoke to her apprenticeship company she was with, and they said we charge £2,700 to take the apprentice on, and also you've got to pay us £180 plus VAT a month, and you get these extra services. Now, one thing I don't like is being told what to do. If you'd have come to me and said it's £180 a month plus VAT as an option, I may have taken the services. But we've now had to go to our local college, transfer our apprenticeship to local college. That's not helping, is it, Dave? That's not just the automotive market, that's any industry. That's not helping apprenticeships.
No, it's not helping at all. I mean, colleges deliver apprenticeships. They deliver the training. They draw the funding.
Yeah.
What you should be doing as a company taking an apprentice on is at least match fund it. So match funding means you pay the wages.
Yeah.
You pay the NI.
And that's what our college have told us to do. We're working very closely with the college.
Yeah. So I'm not a great believer of these companies that say, we'll find an apprentice for you and then charge you like a wounded bull because they've found somebody and you've got to pay for it. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is the way we're doing it, is to point apprentices at good people like yourselves and say, right, now you need to go to college and say, I've got this apprentice, and the college know how to draw the funding. And they're not going to say to you, yeah, but you've got to pay us £2,000 program to do it, they draw the funding. All you have to do is look after that youngster and pay them at least the minimum wage, which is the apprenticeship wage.
Yeah.
Which is something like £280, £300 a week or something like that. It's not right. It's not right, and I think, I don't actually think that I would be comfortable with that sort of arrangement. And it's basically they're recruitment companies, aren't they?
I understand they're a separate business and they can offer these services, but offer them. Don't make them mandatory.
If you go to a company that is a recruitment company, they will say to you, you need to pay us the equivalent of the first 3 months' wages as a fee, but they are recruitment companies. They are not specialist companies finding young people and placing them on the right apprenticeship. They are a horrible thing to say, but they're sort of gold diggers, aren't they? They're making money out of what they shouldn't be making money out of. I'll say that into their face, by the way.
I know you will. You will.
Sorry to jump in. I actually kind of did say it to his face, and I did kind of call him out for it being a bit of a scam, because I've never come across that before, having worked in HR and organised apprenticeships before. Yeah. And I asked him what this extra training was. It was one webinar a month and some kind of team coaching session on what the next unit would be. And he was, it was the best thing since sliced bread.
It's all made up.
Yeah.
It's all made up. There's nothing that these training organisations can deliver that a college can't.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, if you wanted to be, I don't know, if you wanted to be into media, you go to the college and you go to the media department and say, I want this young person to do an apprenticeship in media. It's there in the colleges. Colleges draw the funding. It's free because the government give it to you. So why would you pay extra? I've got a story. I'm working with a group with Amby Singh. We all know Amby Singh. I'm working with his garage, Binley Woods, on an apprenticeship program for independent garages, and he was sending his apprentices to college and paying for them to be on a college course because he didn't understand that if they were on an apprenticeship course, he got it for free.
It's education.
It's education. I've always said that if you take an apprentice, even at 16, within 12 weeks, they can earn you their £300 a week.
Looking to hire skilled technicians without the hassle? At Easy to Recruit, we make recruitment simple, affordable and effective. We help you find the talent you need quickly, saving you time, stress and money. The best part? We take care of the heavy lifting so you can focus on running your business. Ready to make recruitment easy? Visit us at www.easytorecruit.co.uk, call us on 017 8822 0694 or email sales@easytorecruit.co.uk today. Easy to Recruit, redefining the hiring process.
And if any business can't teach that kid, that youngster, that girl, that boy, to earn £300 a week of turnover, they're not running a very good apprenticeship.
But they will see it, Dave. They will see that she's not making the money. But what they don't realise is that they're freeing you up to do other work. If you treat them respectfully and know that what they can do and push them, they will do that, and that frees you up to create more income.
But they do make you money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they do make money because that £300 you're paying them is for work they've done with their mentor. Yeah, so they're helping their mentor to do jobs quicker. Yeah. So their actually turnover goes up, and that's profit. So it's not about those youngsters making you money. It's about those you can get to those youngsters where they, in the first 6 months, are cost effective. Okay. After that, they get better. Yeah. After that, they improve because that's the nature of the beast. Is that you take an apprentice, they start green, you give them little bits of work to do. By the time they're at the end of the first year, they are reasonably formed to be allowed to do stuff on their own, which then makes you money. And then if your apprentice is 2 years or 3 years, the longer they're with you, the more they get on their own, and you'll be leaving them on their own. Third-year apprentices will be doing jobs on their own, earning money.
But I think companies here see it as an investment in their own business.
Always an investment. Always an investment. And I go right the way back. This is a history lesson, by the way.
I've made them off you before, Dave, so carry on.
But I'll go right the way back to my first job. I was basically 15, started at a little garage in Warwick. That garage was full of apprentices. There was only 3 qualified guys in that garage. we were all apprentices at different levels. And when we were qualified, we were encouraged to leave, because the next apprentice was coming in, and he ran his business on apprentices. The older we got, the more, it's like, oh, well, I'll finish my apprenticeship now, you've got to pay me £30 a week. Trust me, it was 35. But he was going, no, I can't afford to pay you that, Dave. Garage down the road will pay you. I'll drop him a line, give him a call, and go and talk to him. And that's the way we moved. But you shouldn't be afraid to take your apprentices on. What I hear quite a lot is, yeah, but we train them when they leave. That's always happened.
Well, don't let them leave.
It's about continuity through your business and having young people in your business to a point where you go, right, now I want another young person in my business. If your business expands, that's great. You've got one ready made. If you continue to bring them in, and what used to happen back in the day was that my boss's business was friendly with all the businesses around them. So these youngsters will go off. I went somewhere else. I went to a dealer up the road because it was like, oh, we got one coming out now. But we shouldn't be afraid with the fact that, yes, we train them. I always said it, if I can get 5 or 6 years out of an apprentice, I've got my money back.
Yeah, and we're looking at it as a long-term thing, because we hope to be good employers. We've never done it before, so it's a test for us as well, to be fair. We've got a lot to learn, Vicky and me. We understand that.
We all know that apprentices learn more on the job than they do at college.
Yeah.
They go to college to learn the theory of whatever that apprenticeship is, but at work they learn how you work, how Vicky works, how the business works, and then they become valuable, and they'll be learning from you. But also, they might be learning things at college that you haven't quite learnt yet, something new that crops up, and they can be beneficial to you. So apprentices are great things. Apprentices, they're not the be and end all, they're not everything, but they are that person that will be trained to be in your business, to understand how your business runs, to contribute to your business, and they're not cheap labour.
No.
Because you have to pay them, you have to pay their NI, you have to do all that legal stuff. So there's a point where they do have to contribute, and they will.
But they don't have to contribute directly, as I said earlier. They can free you up, free your time up to go and create more money for the business. There's a value to everything you do in a business, and a lot of businesses, especially garages who we're talking to, they don't see that.
Absolutely, because, as you say, they free up time. There's got to be jobs in your company that you go, oh God, I've got to sit and do that now. And
editing your videos, Dave.
Yeah. True. But they're the sort of things that they can take off your back, and you can then focus on the stuff that will be profitable for you, that will make you money. And eventually, and they have to learn those things because you know them.
Yeah.
So they have to learn that skill, that running a business isn't just about sitting there with an old geezer with a microphone on his hand. Hey,
less about me, more about you.
It's definitely me. But yeah, so they do contribute, and I don't believe the only time an apprentice doesn't contribute is when a company either picks the wrong one, and I think that's where work experience comes into it, or treats them wrong.
Yes, and I think that's the key, isn't it? Is understanding the apprentice. A lot of people just want to get an apprentice because it's cheap labour, and that doesn't pay off for either party.
No,
if you understand, like we are going out for a meal with our new apprentice on Monday. We've already interviewed her twice and some of her skills. We're going out on Monday to meet her, so we understand her and the way she thinks. Because at the end of the day, I'm nearly 50, unbelievably. Vic is 33.
Never.
Yeah, I know. I thought she was older too. But and then the apprentice is 20. So we've got 3 different age ranges, and if we don't learn from her experiences, we're going to be missing out. I've learned a lot from Vicky. Vicky's learned a lot from me, and we can't. But if we learn from the different generations, we're hitting different people. And one problem with this industry has always been we've hit the wrong market. We've hit the 65-year-old grey male, so we now need to hit different areas.
But we know from. I mean, the reason we set School of Thought up, and what I've learned. Trust me, this has been a big learning curve for me. I've come out of corporate world, Ford world. And I've had to learn about these youngsters and what they can contribute and how they're different, right from 3, 4, 5-year-olds right up to 17, 18, 19-year-olds. They're all different, They all think differently. They're all different generations. And you've got to learn about them. You've got to be able to understand them. And we can't take the old philosophies of 30 years ago when we're talking to kids in 2025, 26.
To be honest, that was one of the things that Ben and I discussed when we were talking about employing people. Ben is very much in his previous roles working for people, because you haven't worked for people for a long time, have you?
No, it's been a few years.
And it was always kind of, you turn up for work, you do your job, and you go home again. And I was kind of saying, it's a bit more than that now, and you have to look after your employees. And Ben was kind of going, but why? So that's been a bit of a learning process for us as well.
Well, it will be, but look how the big boys do it. Look how the big groups treat their apprentices. Take the Ford Apprenticeship, for instance. Probably one of the best manufacturer apprenticeships, has been for 100 years. But those apprentices, they go to a £3 million plus college. They learn in an environment. They have awards. They have rewards. They're treated now because that's what's expected of them. Look at the steer apprenticeship. Absolutely stunning. Because what they do is they engage with their apprentices. Yeah, they work. Yeah, they put the time in. But they will have an apprenticeship away day. They'll take them away. They'll treat them like they're special. They are special.
When quality matters and emissions count, demand precision. BM Catalysts is Europe's leading manufacturer of aftermarket hot-end emissions products. From catalytic converters and OE-level components to expert technical training available on Garage Pro, BM delivers best-in-class manufacturing, rigorous performance, and full compliance. Need parts you can trust? Visit bmcats.com. Partner with BM. Drive profit, exceed expectations.
I put something on LinkedIn the other day about, why we give 20 tickets to the motor show to apprentices. There's nothing in it for us because these are already apprentices that are in the industry. But those youngsters that have committed deserve to be rewarded. So our reward to them, I say our reward, we, obviously the motor show organisers as well, is we give 20 free tickets to this event, which gives them a day out to go and have a bit of fun, but see a bit about the industry.
But I think in the automotive industry, which is why we're all here, if you can't keep them engaged, you're doing something seriously wrong, because there's shows every week. I mean, we're content creators, very lucky anywhere we go and create content, but just going and learning. There's Auto Mechanica, where last time I saw you, Dave. There's next week, there's Chris Evans' show, Car Fest. There's Gravity on the Saturday at the NEC.
Yeah.
On Monday, there's Tuner Fest. There's the Saturday after at Silverstone, or Sunday after there's tracks. You have to go to all, but engage.
Last week was Ford Fest at Silverstone.
Yeah.
There's a Renault Fest at Silverstone. There's lots and lots and lots of events, and that's why we're looking at changing direction in 2026, because we've been to all the industry events. We've been there. We've been probably disappointed with some of the response when we've been there. Take the Auto Mechanica, for instance. We were offering a toolbox as a prize. All they had to do was register on our portal for work experience. In 3 days, we had 3 companies that registered. Companies that registered. So I've spent 3 days of my life setting it up. You know what I'm like. I try and do things properly, engage. But only 3 companies entered that competition to win a toolbox. Yeah, it's disgusting. So we're going to change direction next year, and we're going to start to look at these family events, look at these enthusiast events, because you know what? Every kid that's come to this, he might have been forced by mum and dad.
Yeah.
But most of them will want to know cars. We've been doing VR paint here. We had a young lad this morning. He stayed on it for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I said, "What do you want to be?" And he went, "Well, I'm 12, but I want to be a car painter." They're already here, so we're going to be doing more of that sort of event, Ben, next year.
Well, we've just picked up a magazine an 11-year-old has produced. I don't know whether you've seen it, Dave. Sam, his name is. 11-year-old has produced this magazine.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, he's so cool, but, he knows his stuff. He's put a bit in for kids. He's put a bit in for adults. Now, where will he be in 10 years? I'd like to think.
He's a motor journalist, isn't he? That's what he is. And he could be working for the Daily Express or one of the motoring magazines, or he could be working for you. Which is great. But I mean, if you look at what I'm planning next year, there's some characters on there, on the screen there, of a book I'm writing. Okay? So to try and get some books into schools.
But we've got to understand these people, got to understand what makes them tick. And unfortunately, it's the whole problem with the automotive industry is you charge per hour. You don't charge for the training. You don't charge for the events. Everybody charges per hour.
Yeah.
And you have to have them earning that money back in because that's the way that business is structured. If you understand these people and when you charge out your services, include the training, include the equipment, include the hours, they can go to these events and they'll grow quicker than they ever have done before.
They will, and I think, like I've said this many, many times, look at this event. Where are the garages? Where are the body shops? Where are the representative organisations like the IAAF or the RMI or the IMI? Where are they at this event? They're not. And I think I do schools events all over the country, and I'm the only one promoting careers in our industry. I'm not an employer, so they have to come. Don't get me wrong, there are some that are doing it. There are a few that are, like you said, it's starting to turn. They're starting to get the message. They're starting to get out there. I'm not going to say too little too late because that's wrong, but I think once the momentum starts, then we've got to keep it going. Whether that's with you guys pumping stuff out about it, whether you're going, hey look, Ben at such and such a Motors has gone and done a school or an event, that's all good stuff because it's that fear of missing out for those that don't do it.
I think you're right. I think it's not just doing it, it's promoting you doing it, because it's okay doing it quietly, but everyone needs to know, and I think that's the only way we're going to get this going really.
Don't do it quietly.
No,
don't trust me, I'm probably the loudest person in the industry.
We have noticed.
and I do have a filter problem. I don't have a filter, but at the end of the day, what I say is right. I don't bull it up. I don't do that. It's the right thing to do. It's my passion. This is my industry. Has been since I was 15, and it's starting to turn. You're right. When we first started this conversation, it's starting to turn. There's starting to be more momentum. We need more. We need it to grow. We need to promote it more. We need to create more interest with education. There's lots to do. We've just 6 years in to scratching the surface of this thing.
But within that 6 years, Dave, things have changed, and that is, if you weren't here, some of that change would not have happened. I know it's not just you, I know it's a load of people. Yeah. We need more momentum. We need the companies in this industry to shout about it and to support every project we can with youngsters.
You're right, it is. It's like you've got Kazoo over there that have got a fantastic family zone, a bit of a fun zone. It's not about careers. It's just a fun zone to talk about Kazoo.
When you go home and talk about it, you'll remember the show.
You remember it, yeah. And I think that's where we are with it. There's lots more to do. I'm probably running out of time to do it. Not quite yet. Yeah, not quite yet. But this thing's gathered momentum, and I think you're absolutely right that we now need to push on into 2026. The new school year starts in September. Let's get out there and drive it on more. And all the good things that these good companies have done, other companies now need to just copy it. Don't get precious about, it's theirs, or we're not going to do the same as them, we're going to do it different. If somebody's got a model that actually works, just copy it. Just go out and do it.
Do you see the Springboard initiative being a big help for you in the next school year or 2026?
I think it's going to be because I'm getting a bit long in the tooth. No, I think we nothing about age really. It's really about trying to develop more people, young people, to influence it. We're actually linking Springboard into auto windscreens, so we're going to look at getting some of the glazing youngsters to be on that board, that advisory board, to us to say, point this thing in the right direction. I sit there all the time having fantastic ideas. I can't implement them all, but some of these youngsters, they're obviously nearer to the age group of the people we're trying to attract. And they can guide us. We've set it up. It was a starting point. And through the 2026 school year, we'll start to get Springboard as part of the industry. It may not be School of Thought. It might just be Springboard, which is young people taking this industry by the scruff of the neck and changing it.
You're proud of what you've done so far, sir? You're a good man.
I think I have to be. Julie and I have put a lot of hard work and effort into it, but it's not about that. Well, it is, but it's not about that. It's about, I think you're right. I think the thing that's struck home this just back end of this year, this school year, is the industry seems to be just waking up.
Thank you for getting us to the motor show again. Same time next year, and we'll see where we're at.
Same time next year, as long as I've got a pulse, I'll be here. But I think we've formed a relationship. We love working with you guys because we get the message out.
Well, we'll get the message out for you. Cheers,
Good.
Dave.
Thank you, guys.
Ben is a charity for anyone who works or has ever worked in the automotive industry and their families. We're here to listen and support you through life's toughest challenges. Call our free confidential helpline on 08081 311 333 or visit ben.org.uk for online support with your health and wellbeing.
Well, if there's one thing you can't question about Mr. Reece is his passion.
Yes, and it was really nice this time that you were having a positive conversation about apprenticeships and bringing people into the industry. We do hear a lot of negativity about staff shortages and skills gap and all that. So it's nice that there does seem to be a little bit of a shift towards things improving, and the work that Dave and Julie do at the School of Thought and Louise Baker and people like that, going into schools and talking to kids about careers in automotive. I think it's starting to make a difference.
I think it is. I do slightly disagree with him on the federations. I think the IAAF have done quite a lot towards this, and certainly a lot of their conferences have been geared towards recruitment and helping people recruit and certain things. So I do slightly disagree with him on that. But I do think that we all need to do a lot more. I think it's a collective responsibility. Definitely. What's your main takeaway, Victoria?
I liked his stat that within 12 weeks, apprentices should be earning their wage or making you money. And that's whatever the role is, in a garage, office, body shop, whatever, which seems a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, 12 weeks isn't much, is it? It will go by pretty quickly. How about you?
For me, it's the fact of an apprentice really is a long-term responsibility. And the responsibility isn't actually on the apprentice, it's on the employer to bring that apprentice. I think we put a lot of time, money and effort into finding young people that are suitable for our business. And there's a lot of businesses out there that will use them as cheap labour, as Dave said. And I think what they don't understand then is that they're actually losing money that they've put into that apprentice. I think if you're going to take an apprentice on, it really should be with a long-term view.
It's definitely an investment. It was surprising, though, the process of taking on our apprentice from another provider. As we mentioned, it was just a bit of an eye-opener, really. And if you had gone through a company like the one we dealt with, who try and get all the money that they can out of you, it would put you off going through that process again or taking on another apprentice. So there are some people who are making it difficult.
Yeah, and the key to apprentices coming into any industry is the gateway needs to be as easy as possible.
Yeah.
You're dealing with young people, you're dealing possibly with new employers such as us, and there's many people that are going to go down the apprentices route.
Yeah.
It needs to be as simple as possible for everyone, and it has been an absolute nightmare with the companies we've dealt with.
Especially because some people still find it quite daunting, the fact that, do we have to pay into the levy, or do we get it funded, or how much do we have to pay? Like, there's some uncertainty around apprentices as it is. They need different contracts because they've got different terms and conditions, and it's just, why make it more difficult? I do want to go back to the magazine that we mentioned in your chat with Dave, the Roadster magazine that we picked up at the British Motor Show.
Oh, by the 11-year-old.
How amazing is it that an 11-year-old has put that magazine together? And there's quizzes in it. He's visited the Haynes Motor Museum. There's like a theory test quiz in there. It's just, I find it fascinating.
It shows up the industry. I think he's done more journalism in that one magazine than some of the other journalists in the industry have done over a year. Potentially.
But I mean, it shows so much promise and gives you a bit of hope for the future. If there are kids out here doing stuff like this, then, there's potential that they're going to be working for us in the future.
Well, you do our HR. Can we take on an apprentice that's 11?
No.
One thing I'm certainly learning from having an apprentice is that I probably am not the best person to explain things to them. Because I'm very much this is what I want done, and you're more of the details, which I think an apprentice needs.
Yes, interesting. We both have, even when we're talking to each other, if you give me a brief, you just give me like a one-liner and I'm going, hang on, what does that mean? How am I doing it? What am I doing it for? And I do the opposite to you and give you too much detail for you and you just zone out and hear the last thing that I say. I think that's just about management skills in general. But yeah, I'm quite glad that Maddie's reporting to me and not to you.
But she is putting out some good content for us.
Definitely. So. Yeah, the quality of her work is great. I think she's really enthusiastic. It's definitely changed the dynamic between us having somebody else in the office with us.
And get frustrated at 2 people rather than just one.
Yeah. From a generational point of view, I think it's been really interesting having 3 generations in the office now. The way that we each think about things slightly differently, the way we talk about things, I think it's made us more diverse for sure.
And it's that balance of we need to talk to all 3 generations that are involved in this business, but also then you've got the balance of our business experience kind of knowing how we want to put things out as well. And it's really interesting. But I think the actual balance now is moving close to the middle. And the whole industry's got to do this,
Generation.
Your generation, yeah. And I think the whole industry's got to do this and embrace all the different generations.
Anyway, go millennials.
Yeah. But yes, I think certainly to our business, it's had a massive benefit.
Yes, and I asked Dave about Springboard at the end of the chat with him. And I think that is going to be so helpful for School of Thought, having young people on their advisory board, kind of influencing what they're doing, shaping their marketing, how they're getting the message out there to reach the younger people is, I mean, you know, I don't know what Maddie's talking about half the time and I'm not that much older than her really. But when Dave's talking about, you know, him talking to 17-year-olds, there's a massive gap there in terms of culture and context.
And again, it's that balance of knowledge and experience that Dave has.
Yes.
Compared to what the youngsters are talking about, because you've got to take on board their opinion.
Yeah,
definitely. And we've always got to agree. We have got one ask to employers. If you do have the capacity to take on an apprentice, take on one this year.
Or at least work experience placements. I mean, It can be as little as, I mean, some schools are being more flexible now and offering work experience for a day. Normally it's a week, but it can be longer. Just, you know, take on their opinions, see if there's a role that might be suitable for them in the future when they finish school. And also to the young people or their parents, if you're curious about working in a particular place or work experience, just go and ask them. Ask at your local garage. Louise Baker, like I said, she gets lots of young people asking her if she can take them on. But more garages should be considering it. More young people should be going out asking for it. Don't wait for an advert to go out. Go and have that conversation.
That's all for this episode. A huge thank you to Dave Reece from School of Thought for joining us and sharing his insight. For more information on School of Thought, visit his website at schoolofthoughtautomotive.co.uk or contact Dave directly at dave@readyforwork.uk.
And another thank you to this episode's sponsor, BM Catalysts, the UK and Europe's leading manufacturer of catalytic converters, DPFs and front pipes. You can find out more at bmcats.com.
Finally, thank you all for listening. Our listener figures are growing rapidly.
Yay.
If you have enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to follow Garage Talk Unwrapped on your favourite podcast platform and hit the bell so you never miss an episode.
Next time, we'll be talking about mental health in the aftermarket with Stephen Whitten from Menable. Bye.
Bye.